Please listen carefully.
Well, hello, universe, and welcome to the Optimist Daily Update. I'm Kristy Jansen.
And I'm Summers Kristy.
And we're part of the team behind the Optimist Daily, making solutions the news. We bring you reader-funded solutions news every day in order to change the tenor of news media, social media, and the direction of your day to help make it one focused on solutions.
7 days a week, we publish positive news stories written by award-winning journalists and delivered online to your inbox and through our social channels. And also, we are sharing these solutions in a commute-worthy, walk-worthy, home office-worthy, or we're in our oasis of human contact-worthy podcast. Today is Thursday, the 4th of March, 2021. Well, Kristy, it's lovely to hear your voice this morning. How are you?
I'm well, and yes, I am in my extended family and friends pod of more people than I'm used to being around lately. I'm soaking up all the hugs and, the laughter, the joking around, the casual interaction with other people. And it's really strange to be walking around outside without a mask on to me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but it's nice. I'm getting used to it, and it's going to be hard to leave when it's time for me to go back to my normal environment. But
we are delighted that you wanted to come on to record. I have to admit, I was a bit surprised when you said, I want to join. And then I realized that you miss us just like we miss you.
I do. Part of my day is reading through the Optimist Daily, and I love talking about our favorite solutions with you, Summers and Amelia. It's just something nice to orient myself on the solutions, on what's going right. I don't know if you saw, Summers, but we had a comment from a new subscriber the other day who's a father, and he wrote to us just saying that he really appreciates what the Optimist Daily is doing. He appreciates a break from the negative news cycles and all of the fraught headlines.
Mm-hmm.
But he is so afraid of the world his daughter's going to be growing up in. He was basically asking for advice on how to get connected to other people who are being productive and working towards things in relation to climate change, in relation to cultural breakdowns. I haven't written him back. I don't know if you wanted to, but I thought that it just was interesting for somebody to reach out to us for some advice on how to get connected to other people who are also feeling this kind of anxiety in the world, which kind of reminds me of the emotional inflammation.
I was going to say we should probably direct
that we
him.
did.
Yeah, we should probably direct him to that webinar as a resource.
And there's other resources, like actually the climate mobilization, which is Margaret Klein Solomon. She's also a clinical psychologist, and she started a foundation trying to really call the climate emergency an emergency, which is what it is, and invoke the idea of mobilization. So that's why it's called the climate mobilization. But she's starting small groups of people, from 2 to 4 people, to come together and talk about their emotional states in the face of this, and then how to support each other through this. And so she's actually putting that together. So I was going to maybe send that out to this guy, Brian.
I think that sounds like a great resource. Yeah. And at the end of the day, being in the community of emissaries at the Optimist Daily, and knowing that you're participating and sharing content and just being open to posting, solutions focused content will draw other positive people in your direction. So I think, it's lovely to know at the Optimist Daily on a regular basis we can help lift people. I was talking to a potential partner for our businesses the other day, and I was describing how we really want people to consume the Optimist Daily. And on a every morning basis, we want no more than 2 to 5 minutes of your time, unless you're listening to the Optimist Daily update, in which case do anything you want while you are listening to us. But when you get the Optimist Daily subscription in your email, or you come onto the homepage because you follow us through social and that's where you find your content, we want you to read the headlines, very quickly, and pick 2 to 3 articles that really inspire you, and then go dive into those, take a look. But really, it's a 5-minute shift every morning. It's a 5-minute lift. And that's what I think we all can, grow from and need is start your mornings better. And that's our tagline at the Optimist Daily, is how you start your mornings better. And I don't know, today definitely got my morning started better. Kristy,
Mm-hmm.
do you want to talk about my story or your story first?
I'll talk about mine just because it's talking about how do we start measuring our carbon footprint along with other important things to measure when we looking at food. The headline reads, an increasing number of brands are adding carbon labels to their products. And I think this is mostly for food, but it's also for other types of products like personal health care and makeup and things like that. But I mean, we're all familiar with the supermarket labels that talk about nutritional value of foods. And I mean, I've become a very astute reader of those labels to see what am I buying and what am I eating and what am I feeding my children and my family, right? Looking to make sure you don't have too much added sugar, all the negative things that you don't want you want to avoid.
Right.
It helps us all make those better choices. And I've been saying that it'd be great if we had those kinds of labeling for other types of metrics. And so there's a new movement where different brands are adding their carbon footprint labels onto their products. For example, Cocoa Kind, which is an indie beauty brand, they recently introduced new packaging labels, which detail a list of sustainability facts about each item. For example, there's one product that's listing a carbon footprint of 24.5 grams per use. And then it helps put that into perspective by comparing that to other sources of emissions, like driving a car for comparison. And then it also has details about the packaging itself. For example, how much is in this box? How much of it is recycled? How big of a carbon footprint impact is it? Panera Bread is doing similar types of labeling. So you can order things from their menu or for the grocery store products that have a lower carbon footprint. So, right. You get a chicken salad instead of the beef wrap, right? For example, something like that. And I think that having these kinds of labeling will help raise awareness of where our food is coming from, how it is packaged, and being aware of those will help to lead behavior in a different way. So I think this is a really positive solution. I'm enjoying this story for that.
Yeah, well, and we've talked about before that we have to frame it, and these companies and Cocoa Kind and, they're framing it in reference to other information. So it's about storytelling and it's about education. And I love that they're saying, this in comparison to driving a car, this, right. Chicken over beef, veggie wrap over, animal products. It helps people understand that we can, by just gentle tweaking our behavior, make better choices that in aggregate can reduce our carbon footprint and can reduce the carbon that we're emitting that are affecting the world in a negative way.
And part of this is informing consumers can help make consumers make different choices if they care about their ecological footprint. And that kind of consumer behavior will help drive the company's behavior and catering to those markets, which will help shift the entire industry away from carbon intensive resourcing.
My story is also about carbon, different, and this goes from the small product manufacturing to huge industry. The headline reads, can hydropower help clean up commercial ammonia production? From the energy section of the Optimist Daily. Now, I actually don't think we've talked about ammonia much on the Optimist Daily.
I don't think so, because it's one of those things that it's sort of this industrial use product that it's really more business to business as opposed to consumer based.
Well, and what ammonia, to frame it for everyone who is not ammonia familiar, ammonia is basically a colorless, noxious gas that's a compound of nitrogen and hydrogen. It's used for a lot of different things, from producing dyes to treating wastewater, but its most common industrial use is in the production of fertilizer. Well, it turns out that the production of ammonia emits more carbon dioxide than any other chemical making reaction, according to the Chemistry and Engineering News. There is a company called Yara International, which if you look at Yara's site, right, their tagline is knowledge grows. Their head story is about Yara Statecraft and Aker Horizons join forces to establish Europe's first large-scale green ammonia project in Norway to enable the hydrogen economy and accelerate the new green energy transition. I actually had to go to the Yara page because I wasn't really familiar with this company before the story came up. But basically, they announced this partnership, and they're going to be producing green ammonia at their plant in Porsgrunn, Norway. Basically, figuring out a different way to use the hydrogen economy to create this greener ammonia and reduce the amount of carbon that is emitted in the manufacturing. For hydrogen to be shipped worldwide, it must be converted to ammonia. And by producing ammonia using low-cost hydropower, you can reduce the financial and environmental impact. Maybe not the financial impact. So,
well, you can reduce the cost of production.
Exactly. So basically, we're looking at, to just sort of sum it in an easy sentence, the hydrogen economy is definitely a booming growth area for a reduction in carbon release. In order to serve the hydrogen economy and ship hydrogen worldwide, it has to be converted to ammonia.
It doesn't have to be, but it's one of the solutions there. Yara may be saying that it must be, but I don't think it has to be. But it's interesting that that's part of their business strategy.
Well, and we talk about this with regards to, when you create a solution, you have to look at the whole supply chain, right? You have to look at all of the inputs along the supply chain, and electric vehicles, the supply chain with regards to batteries, mining, and distribution, and reuse of those batteries.
Reuse, or the end of life.
End of life. That's something that's been of great concern. And I love that they're looking at the hydrogen economy and saying, where can we create a solution early on?
And I think this is super important because we do spend so much time focused on sort of consumer solutions and how do we make the planet better, greener from a consumer standpoint. But the individual use is only one small slice of the overall pie. Even our personal cars, that's only one small slice of the overall transportation picture and logistics picture. So there's new processes, new industrial processes that are trying to green themselves up is super important. So green ammonia is important, greener concrete, greener steel. All of the production that we do to create these big industrial processes also needs to be moved off of the carbon economy. Yeah. And I think hydrogen is one of the main key ingredients to that and moving into a hydrogen economy. And Europe especially is really starting to invest in this. So is Japan. So is the United States to some extent. And I think this is a tremendously positive solution.
Well, and we will keep our fingers on the pulse of the hydrogen economy and different hydrogen solutions that are coming all across industry. There are other fun, fabulous articles on the Optimist Daily today. I almost picked this one because I have a funny story about portable speakers, but this one reads, these portable speakers are powered by old e-bike batteries.
I love this. Again, it's putting a good use to what otherwise would be waste.
New underwater robots can detect and save drowning swimmers. Good. I clearly will need to get one of those because our future home has a pool. 4 simple ways to strengthen your gut health. And then floating islands will form a archipelago in Copenhagen's harbor. What else do we have, Kristy?
Well, Volvo, the car manufacturer, is joining the movement to go all electric by 2030, another step in the electrification of our transportation system. If you are craving sweets, there's some opportunity to use dates. And dates offer lots of health benefits. So that article is about that. The USPS is unveiling a greener new design for postal trucks. I think they are moving mostly towards electric vehicles, and that's an interesting story there. And finally, there's an article about how children are coping with the pandemic, and then how we as parents and educators and friends to young children can help them work out their trauma. We're all traumatized, and our children are certainly traumatized by this experience of being in the pandemic world that we were living in.
Well, I think today we are going to have to once again say farewell to Miss Kristy, who is going to take tomorrow off and go do some spiritual, expansive healing, adventuring, and yoga, but not hiking because her ankle. Anyway, we love you. Thank you for dropping in during your vacation week to come visit us here on the Optimist Daily. And we'd like to thank everybody who's listening for listening to the Optimist Daily Update. We promise to continue to share positive solution-based stories with ideas on how you can participate in this changing world and ensure it is changed for the good. Please, if you... Thank you, Cleo. Yep, Cleo's like, yes, become an emissary. $5 a month. Support reader-funded independent journalism. Kristy, any takeaways from today? We'll be thinking about you all weekend.
No, just stay positive. Think about what's right be grateful for what we have, and look at all the challenges as opportunities for growth. That's the perspective I'm trying to take right now.
I think it's a perfect perspective. Thanks, everybody. Amelia and I will talk to you tomorrow, and Kristy, we'll see you on Monday.
Have a great weekend, everybody.